My name's Paul Dunn, I'm 46. I come from Kennaway in Fife. I'm currently unemployed, but I'm known for keeping venomous snakes. Other hobbies were martial arts. I've done taekwondo, I've got a black belt in taekwondo, brown belt in karate. Also a bit of a musician, play guitar, I'm a singer, stuff like that.
That's great. Tell me, what again, you might not have an answer to this, don't know. What is your interest or connection with Silverburn? Do you have a connection?
Used to come here as a kid when the zoo was open. And funny enough, my girlfriend's dad used to work at Silverburn Zoo when he was at the petting zoo. And I always remember they had a boa constrictor. Again, I'm into snakes. Boa constrictor. I never ever got to handle it, but yeah, I'd go down and see the snake all the time. So yeah, I've been here. Grandparents brought me here and stuff like that. Seen the snake, seen the Shetland horse. Used to be a big Shetland. They kind of if it's a pony or a horse.
So how did seeing the snake influence the rest of your life?
I keep snakes. I used to be petrified of snakes, but reptiles kept dragging me back. And Steve Irwin obviously came on the TV. And me being autistic, I'd sit and watch Steve Irwin. And I'd be like, I could do that. And someday, online, it's when the internet came around. Somebody told me there's certain venomous snakes that I could keep without a licence. So I started keeping them. And then somebody told me how to get a licence. So I got a licence, and the next thing you can have rattlesnakes, cobras, mambas, you name it, I've kept it.
So you mentioned previously about you have a Polish connection.
Yeah.
Can you, again, fairly short, tell me what that Polish connection is?
Yeah, my grandfather, he's Polish. He's from Grudziądz, I'm sure that's how you say it. And he was in the 1st Independent Polish Paratroopers Brigade. And he was stationed, well, they came to Fife. He never spoke much about the war. I just he ended up in Fife. But his mum and dad were German. So it's a bit of a weird one. If he was brought up in Germany or if he moved to Poland. So, your mum and dad are German, then you go to war with Germany, that's got to be a weird thing. He was in the Polish army and I think he was back and forth. His information says.
Who's given you information about him?
Bits and bobs from my mum, wee bits for him, but not much. But the information's all sitting on the table. It's probably that's everything. Being autistic, I've taken bits and bobs, so I didn't store much. Because my head's like a million miles per hour. A lot of it's in Polish, so that part I can't process.
So you're saying it's largely your mum who. What's the name of your grandfather again? They've got it down as Jan, but it's like Yannick. So it's Yannick Kirstein. So Kirstein, Kirstein, which apparently means cherry stone. And I don't care if it's German or Polish. That's great. So you've heard this from your mum about what happened to Yannick. So you're saying that he had German parents. He had German parents. What was the first thing you heard? What was the first part of his story that you heard? Where does his story start in a way? And what was
for me, it's known that he was like a prisoner of war, and that he had to prove that he wasn't Jewish because we were going to gas him. That's probably the first thing I heard. But it didn't speak much. It wasn't until like my Uncle Bob started getting the papers and stuff like that we started finding more. But that's mainly after he died. Obviously due to what we went through and stuff like that, I wouldn't speak much about it.
Do you want to tell us what you know about what he went through or not?
All I know is that he was prisoner of war for about 5 years, I'm sure. And as I say, they were going to gas him and they had to prove that he wasn't Jewish. And I think he managed to prove that, but I've heard stories of him escaping with the help of the French resistance. I don't know, because you've got hearsay, you didn't I wasn't there, so I couldn't tell you. whatever's in the documents there, I'll probably tell you like how we got away, or they might know. But if you want to know the French resistance, he had to help with that. And he escaped and ended up in Fife. Never ever went back to Poland.
Was your grandmother Scottish?
Yeah, she lived in Methil.
So can you tell us anything about how they met?
I've honestly not got a clue.
That's all right. That's all right. Did your mum say anything about being a kid in Fife with a Polish dad?
Aye, they were strict. They were kind of old school. It's like you looked at them, the wrong way. You got Scotties. They never took no rubbish off anybody. When they came over here, my bus went past and had Prive on it. And he asked my gran where Privati was. And something to do with the water. The water wasn't getting hot. He was like, why is this water not hotter? Because he had to come over and learn the lingo over here and stuff like that.
Did you get any feeling that it wasn't all roses for them coming here? That however they'd come, did you get any feeling as that it could be quite tricky?
Nah, it was grand of it. He took everything in his stride there. I think he came here. And I think he'd probably be glad to be here. He never went back to Poland. I always thought he should go back and see his sister now. But due to all the stuff that he'd been through, I reckon being here would be a bit of relief, like me and my gran and stuff like that. And I didn't ever seen his mum that again. So I think that would have got to him. But he's seen his sister. She came over.
So what was his job? Do you know what his job was?
He was, oh God, it's down there. He was a carpenter. And he could do watches as well, like watchmaker. But it was a place in Leven. It's on one of the forums there.
So we need to look up about the
You
job.
just keep the camera rolling, we'll find it for you.
That's great. No, it's very interesting. He was a carpenter and maybe a watchmaker. Those are both incredibly skilled.
I gave my brother all his watch stuff. It was a big wooden box. It had all the stuff for watches and that. But my brother was a kid. So a lot of that probably got lost and destroyed.
That's not here anymore?
I think it's in the attic, but I don't know how much it's in there.
Is that your brother's attic?
That's my mum's.
Mum's attic, yeah. It's a tough time trying to even think about these things.
But he was a joiner, a carpenter. He made.
Yeah.
It was quite a well-known place. Macintosh, is that it? In Leven? Methil Macintosh.
Right, okay.
He was a cabinet maker with Andrew Cook in Leven High Street. And he could make watches, do watches and stuff like that. Always remember in his cabinet he had it's like the monocle that you put in your eye. And he could fix his watches and stuff like that. He'd sit at my gran's and he could fix watches and stuff for people.
Which probably made it a lot easier for him to fit in because he had his trade as well. It's just that's.
I love to drink at the Kirkland bar. There's pictures in behind the bar pouring himself a pint. Him and my gran were regulars in there, and I didn't even if he maybe met my gran at the pub because she was a drinker. So quite possibly in there, I don't know, but you never can.
So did you say you got pictures of him in the pub?
There's pictures of my mum's, and there's pictures
in the loft.
Yeah, right. But there's pictures of him with his hand on the pulling himself a pint.
Did you say you got blonde hair like him? Did you say something about having blonde hair?
Blonde hair. Hitler wanted to be a supreme race of kids with blonde hair and blue eyes. And when I was born, I had blonde hair and blue eyes, and he was over the moon. I think that's something, me being the first Kirsty ever born, the whole family with blonde hair and blue eyes. I think he was a bit, what's the word you're looking for? Blown away with that, or happy. Because like Hitler was looking for a master race of blonde hair and blue eyed kids.
That's a fantastic story, it really, it's just, I can just imagine it.
He is at Methil Mill Cemetery in Methil. So Methil.
So,
And his grave's sitting, so you can go to his grave and you can look over and you can see the pub. So where they've chosen, you can see the pub. You can, Mankey deserves to be seen. They didn't make them like him anymore. And today's generation haven't got a clue. And these guys went into war as kids. And when they came back out, obviously traumatised. But I'd be traumatised for life, but he just gone. And he was a grandad then. Came with new mental health start rife. But he handled everything well. I didn't care if he suffered in silence. But he was a hero in my eyes. I suffer mental health, but when you become an adult, nobody gives a shit. So if there was stuff for adults with mental health, and people who actually cared about adults. As a child, I got diagnosed with Asperger's. As I got older, doctors didn't know what I can. And I became a self-harmer, and I kind of overdosed and shit like that. It's harder as an adult to get help than it is for a child. Silverburn, the location, where it is, it's peaceful, it's next to the water, it's walking around Silverburn's calming, it's like in nature, it's like Kennaway Den, and like Kennaway Den, we've got the den, you just go down the road, and it's about a mile long, but you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. Similar to here, you just go down that driveway and you're somewhere else, you're away from everything. But mental health, it helps to be somewhere calming, somewhere that the brain could relax and chill out and stuff like that. My brain moves at a million miles per hour, so it'd be somewhere nice and calm, and I'm always tense, and like Silverburn, places like that just brings a wee bit of relaxation and helps me breathe a wee bit.
And do you want to tell us just briefly about who we think your granddad's cousin was?
I can't even say it. Franciscek Killian. That was he's either my granddad's cousin or my granddad's mum's cousin. And he was a priest, and he was put into Block 11 in Auschwitz and sentenced to starvation. And he was beaten daily. They'd beat the absolute crap out of him. But he'd keep the men's morale up. And that's a hero as well. And they wanted to make him a saint, but in order to make him a saint, they have to prove 3 miracles that he performed. And I don't know how they'll do that, but it'd be cool. But I'd say one miracle was he was there in the first place for the men. Second miracle, that kept their morale up. Third miracle, he was born in the first place here, so we make him a saint.
Brilliant, thank you.
He was a hero. They didn't make them like that. Anyway.